In example 4, the keyword or the command word in the example is solve. So you need to solve for x. It tells us it's between 0 and 2 pi. But it starts off and it looks really nasty. Cos 4x cos x plus sine 4x sine x equals 1. So we have two trig functions and a whole bunch of stuff. One of the reasons I tell you you need to have your formulas mostly memorized is so that when you see cos cos plus sine sine, your mind tells you that's one of your formulas. And if you have it mostly memorized that your mind tells you that's one of your formulas, it'll give your mind the say, oh, look at your formula sheet, and which one does it match up with? Is there one that's cos cos plus sine sine? Yes. Your cos alpha minus beta formula is cos minus, plus sine sine. So that means alpha is 4x, beta's here, alpha's here, beta's there. It matches up perfectly. So I can rewrite the left-hand side of my equation as cos 4x minus x. Now, often in mathematics, you don't know if this is going to help you, but it's something you notice. When you're solving a question, you notice something and say, hey, I could change that. And that changes this question to cos 3x equals 1. And now you have a new problem. Is this solvable? Do I recognize this kind of question? Did we give this kind of question a name? It's a multi-revolution question. So if you can recognize this as a multi-revolution question, now we can solve it like we solved multi-revolution questions. We called these multi-revolution questions because the 3 inside made it act like it was going 3 times around the circle. Because if our normal domain was between x and 2 pi, 3 x's would be between 0 and 6 pi, which is 3 times around. So the way that we solved a multi-revolution question is we said, is cos ever equal to 1? Yes. When? So we'd say the angle, the angle's 3x. 3x could equal, well, cos x equals 1 at 0 and 2 pi. That's the first time around the circle. Then 4 pi is the second time around the circle. And 6 pi is the third time around the circle. However, in this situation, six pi is not included. Right? This is really rude to 6 pi. This is like handing out birthday invites and giving it to a friend and then, oh, sorry, and taking it back. Yeah. And then to solve for x, we divide everything by 3. And so x is equal to 0, 2 pi over 3, and 4 pi over 3. So first of all, the question we have to recognize, oh, there's a sum and difference identity. That changes this equation to something else. And then when we change that equation to something else, then it's supposed to trigger another type of thing that we've done before. In this case, the multi-revolution question.
So would you forget to cross 6 out and you included the answer? How many marks do you lose?
Probably a half a mark in this case. You'll notice in most of my questions I have like equal signs. The textbook likes to keep you on your toes a little bit more. Questions for practice on this one are 15 and 17.